Okay, the meeting will come to order. Wait a minute, Kay. Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Gore, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Benjamin?
Present.
Ms. Connolly?
Present.
Ms. Williams?
Present.
Dr. Vial?
Present.
All right, let me ask, Mr. Lamar, will you lead us in the pledge to the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Gore, do we have any citizens' comments? Thank you, Ms. Gore. All right, let's go to approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the October 27th, 2020 agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Lamar and a second by Mr. Benjamin. It's been moved and seconded, so is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, the motion is carried. Reports, Chairman's report. I have a great report tonight. I'm just going to grade it myself because I have an announcement on one of our colleagues. Today at our delegate assembly, which was done virtually, Dr. Dale, I'm going to get it out, Dale. Dr. Dale Viox was elected to be our treasurer of Tennessee School Board Association. So we are so fortunate here in Arlington to have such a great colleague to represent us on Tennessee School Board Association in the state. So Dr. Viox, congratulations to you, and we're so proud of you. Congratulations. Now be sure and count that money right.
Yeah.
Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. I want to start again with acknowledging our employees, our students, and our parents for continuing to adhere to our safety protocols, and they're working very hard and doing what we've asked them to do. And as I've said all along, the goal at the end of the day is to keep our schools open, and I feel like we've been able to do that by everyone's cooperation. And I will say this week it's only Tuesday, but it's been a little bit more challenging as we anticipated it would be once we return from fall break. There's also a trend, an increasing trend in our area, the county, in our state, and our nation, actually. But we're feeling that. We're feeling the effects of that in all aspects. We're doing the best that we can to try to manage not only those situations cases that we find out about, or exposures that we find out about that are school related, but also those that are coming to us from community and other sources. And that's a challenge, and we're learning about those hourly, and just when we get one situation settled, we learn about another one. But again, we're doing our best to try to manage that in the way that we can. And I think our students and our employees, our parents have all done an outstanding job with following us, adhering to what we've asked them to do. So we do appreciate that. That's the only way we're going to get through this, is if we continue working together in that respect. I do want to talk a little bit about second semester planning. Our CRS team met last week to start the initial process of planning for second semester. We are also in the process of compiling, I think we've landed on that, finished that, a survey that will go out to all families. If you'll recall, in the beginning, we asked our families to commit to whatever learning model that they had selected for the semester. And I think that was a good decision because there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that people don't need to see, but you know, trust me, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that has to happen with scheduling and, you know, staffing assignments, staffing changes, staffing shifts, those kind of things that we're going to be looking at second semester as we figure out what our families' desires are as they determine which learning model they want to either continue with or switch to. And we will give all families that opportunity to be surveyed. We're going to do it a little bit differently this time. We're going to do it through Power School because all parents have access through Power School. That will also make it a lot easier for us to pull reports, follow up with people who, for whatever reason, haven't responded to the survey, and be able to contain that a lot more easily than what we were able to do in the summer months, because Power School has to have some customizations in order for us to do that, and we've been able to have the time to think about that and plan for that and get that in place as we move into second semester. At this point, there is, we don't really have plans to I know you've seen on the news, I saw it last night, where some other districts are making some adjustments in their learning models at this time. Some that weren't, I know we have K-8 in-person learning as an option, and then our hybrid model at the high school. Some of the other districts did not have the full K-8, and they've tried to move to that as a first approach. And then there's some districts that are expanding their high school beyond the recommendations of the health professionals and the safety protocols. And our team is not comfortable moving beyond that. So at this point, I don't anticipate any changes until something drastically changes in society and what we're seeing happening. And we will make those adjustments as we have first semester. We'll continue to make those adjustments as needed at that point. But that survey will go out not this week, but our anticipated date is next Monday. We'll probably leave that open for a week. There's always that quandary of whether or not, you know, parents, you know, can decide right now on what I'm going to want my child to do in January. We realize that's a quandary. Of course, right now with things looking like they are, we may end up with more online students than what we're anticipating we would at this point. We don't know yet. But those numbers will drive what our planning is going to look like for second semester. You know, we're going to have to make adjustments based on what parents select. We know too that we may end up with more students in our elementary in-person learning if more of those students opt to come back in the middle school the same. I think we'll be fine at the middle school because we already have a plan in place for that. It will just be expanded upon. Elementary may be an adjustment, so we're being very careful about our survey and how we're wording that to let parents know that if you select this option, you could be experiencing this type of learning model when you come back to school, or you know, whatever the case may be. So we're working on that. I'll keep you all up to date on that as we move through that. We did have a task force meeting call today, and the case numbers don't look promising right now, but the health department is trying to continue to get the message out of things that people can do, families can do. I mean, they're at the point where they're trying to implore the governor to make a masking mandate because that's not something that's in place right now, and they've implored all municipal leaders that do not have a mask mandate in order now. Their stance on that is that's the only thing that we visibly can control, because we don't know where people are, or where they're going, or what they're doing, or what they're bringing into businesses or schools. So that was sort of the temperature of that call today. It was, we're getting an average of 300 new cases a day. It's definitely a trend. It's on the rise at this point. So hopefully that will go down. They're not anticipating that it will for a while with holidays coming upon us, and people are going to have family gatherings and travel and things of that nature that are not going to contribute necessarily to the decrease in that trend. So that was the nature of that call today. Shifting gears to a little bit more upbeat, we do have our ribbon cutting tomorrow for the new AHS indoor athletic facility. I know all of you or some of you are planning on being there tomorrow. That's at 11:30. We've invited our town officials, mayor, aldermen, different people, central office executive staff members, and other members that are available to attend. We'll have that. We'll have some light refreshments, prepackaged, of course. They won't be laying out on the tray like we normally do, but we will have something to commemorate the occasion for that tomorrow. Just congrats to Dr. Biox for his selection. That's great to have our district be represented at the state level, so we look forward to you serving us and the organization in that capacity. Also want to congratulate Mr. Goforth, who was selected recently to serve on the Tennessee Educator Recognition Advisory Council. That's a new initiative by the state aimed at trying to increase the state's educator recognition, which is, if anything's ever been needed, it's needed right now to try to recognize or find ways to recognize our educators more and more. So he was actually nominated by a colleague in another school district. So again, I think that speaks highly of our district when people see leadership in our district and they nominate people to serve on those state committees. So congratulations, Mr. Goforth. And with that, that is all that I have, and I think we have a few staff members that have some brief reports to make, some don't. Dr. Clark, I think you had a couple of announcements you wanted to make.
Good evening. With our staffing updates, because of some of the needs that our students have during this time, we saw, Ms. Eldridge saw a need for a part-time speech therapist, and we were fortunate enough to be able to hire someone with several years of experience and great credentials. So that worked out, and so we'll have that additional support. Mainly what I understand right now at Arlington Elementary School, but Ms. Eldridge has been diligently looking in those areas and making sure we provide those support in these times. The substitute fill rate, as you know, at the beginning of the school year and trying to anticipate the impact this may have, we were trying to be very proactive and have substitutes on hand. We are running at 70 to 80 substitutes on hand. So our fill rate in August was 94%, and for the month of September was 96%. We have had a few interims that we've had to fill for medical leave, and I will share with you that has worked out very well with, we're fortunate enough in our district at a regular time to have substitutes that are retired teachers, and even retired teachers of our district, Arlington Community Schools. So they're coming in and they're helping us in those interims, and that makes it for a very seamless process when an employee has to take medical leave. Last week, we're still recruiting. It's virtually, but Mr. Hill has been very helpful with me in getting us videos to really highlight our district, because with everything virtual, we're really having to be very strategic and show off our district. I will share with you, thank you for always looking at our salary schedule, because that raises their eyebrows and their eyeballs get really big as a student coming out of college. I participated in virtual session at Mississippi State virtual, and then tomorrow I have University of Alabama and Louisiana State University. Last week, one of the candidates that I interviewed, she was an alumni of Arlington Middle, She remembered me as her principal, and then Arlington High School. So it's really great to see people who want to come back and serve our community. So I encouraged her in any way that I could help her to achieve her dreams, because I recall her as a very successful student. So that's all that I have to share for you tonight, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Mr. Goforth? While Mr. Goforth's coming up, one other thing that I wanted to add, that when I was talking about our reopening plan, is one of the things that we've looked at also is trying to figure out ways that we can better support our students that are being quarantined, because that's different from 100% virtual online learning. And we didn't have a lot of that. We still haven't had what I would consider a whole lot of that compared to what I've heard others experiencing, but we're seeing that increasing. And so we've recognized the need to make sure we have a plan in place to better support students who are on a long-term quarantine. And Mr. Goforth and his department worked to put something together, and we've communicated that out to our teachers and administrators last week. So hopefully that will assist us in that area.
Good evening, board members. I have just a short update, actually just really one thing to share. I wanted to share with you about a new program that we'll be rolling out next week in our schools. It's called Closed Gap. And what Closed Gap is during this time, as you know, the emotional well-being of our students is extremely important as well. Not only do we have to worry about academics, but we have to worry about the social and emotional part as well. So what it is, it's simply a program that we will implement in grades 3 through 12. And what it is, these students will have an app that's on their iPad, and these kids will check in each day by touching the app. And when they get into the app, they can simply, as I say, give a thumbs up or a thumbs down how they're feeling for the day, if they're having a great day, if they're feeling stressed for the day, if they're sad, that type of thing. And what happens is some of this information is routed, the more severe indicators are routed to our counselors to alert them about these students when they are feeling very, very stressed, that they can team up with these kids to offer some support for them. Like I said, it'll be in grades 3 through 12, and this will be a program where parents will have to opt in, so the information will go out to parents next week, and if they would like their child to participate to get some support down that avenue, they'll have that choice. So just wanted you to be familiar when you saw any information about Closed Gap in the community. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Goforth.
Thank
Ms. Douglas, you don't have any? Okay, thank you. Mr. Ruff?
Good evening, board members. I only have a couple of things to share this evening, and in listening to Mr. Mayo talk about the increasing COVID cases, I just want to give you guys a heads up that we've met with SKB and a couple of our local vendors, and we've increased our chemical order to make sure that we kind of stay ahead of this the best we absolutely can, to make sure that everybody has the necessary supplies to try to fight this the best we can. Also, as you know, we have the ribbon cutting tomorrow, but that also means we're moving on to our next project. We had a pre-proposal meeting for the next project, and we had 5 companies that are interested in bidding on it. So we'll be getting some information back from those people soon, and that's not necessarily mean they'll all bid, but they're all great qualified companies, and when we hear more, then we'll get with you guys, hopefully bringing a proposal to you to begin that construction project. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ruff. Ms. Speakman?
Nothing new for me?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hill. And Ms. McDaniel, is this your financial?
Yes.
Okay,
I don't have anything.
okay, we'll wait on that until you call for the financial report. Okay, that concludes the superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayo. Ms. McDaniel, the financial report.
I wasn't looking at the agenda. So.
Good evening. So the financial report for August 2020 for the general fund, year-to-date revenues was $3.6 million, expenditures $5.2 million. Our nutrition fund, we have $31,000 and expenditures of $63,000. Federal and discretionary grant funds, revenues of $493,000, expenditures of $481,000. And our construction in progress, revenues at 0, expenditures at $422,000. the Interlocal Health Benefits Plan Asset Trust Report for August as well. Year-to-date revenues are at 4.3 million and expenses are at 3.5 million. The beginning balance was 4.5 million with an ending balance of 4.7. And then one additional item tonight that we have, you should all have received the internal school funds audit report. That is the audit for the individual schools. You know, they have a separate fund for their money. We had no findings, which is always great. So if you have any questions about the audit report, please let me know. Everything looked great in it though, as always. Our financial secretaries are fabulous. All right, that's all I had for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDaniel. TLN report, well, at the delegate assembly today, our resolution passed, so it will be a part of the legislative agenda for TSBA. And several good resolutions passed today. I think we only had one that did not pass, and I was hoping that maybe in our work session we could maybe discuss some of these and look at it and get with Ms. Speakman and the executive staff, let you know if you would please give us anything that you feel we need to put on that legislative agenda. I noticed that the licensure thing looks like it almost passed last year, but it is still on here, going to be on the TSBA legislative agenda. And there was one other. Dale, do you remember which one it was? There was one other that was already on there, and I've forgotten now which one it was.
I actually hadn't listened to that yet. They're
Oh.
gonna
Well,
put
at
it
any rate,
online, so
we
I'm gonna
will,
listen
we will
tomorrow.
maybe discuss this more at the work session, but just so if we want to make sure that we've included the staff in any suggestions you have for the agenda. And certainly with this pandemic, I don't know how much of a legislative session we'll have, who knows?
It's always good news.
Huh?
That's always good news.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
Shorter session for them.
Short sessions. I agree with you. Ms. Beekman, did you have anything you wanted to add on that?
Not at this time. I can talk to you offline just to see if it was on yours, because I don't want to be duplicated. So-
Yeah. In fact, I wanted to share these with you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We will move on. Did anybody have any questions about that? I know you and Lyle heard that. And Hugh, if I need to share anything with you, I'll be glad to do that. Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. Viox and seconded by Mr. Benjamin. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Superintendent Mason, did you hear what I just said?
Oh my goodness. Throwback.
Whoa.
Throwback Tuesday.
That's right. TBT.
Superintendent, it's the M's that's throwing me, I think. Superintendent Mayo, will you lead us through our miscellaneous budget items as well as our action items?
Sure. So
Even though I called you the wrong name.
the resolution before you is Resolution 2020-18, and basically, this is our monthly budget amendments that we make. This is not anything, obviously, that has to go before the town, and these are the transfers that we make within budget that are solely with your approval. So with that, it's my recommendation that you approve Resolution 2020-18 of the Arlington Community Schools Board of Education, amending the 2020-2021 schools budget.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Conley and seconded by Mr. Benjamin. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Mr. Mayo.
Okay, the recommended business item is the approval of the 2020 Local Education Agency Compliance Report. Basically, this report is what we have to complete with the TDOE each year, saying that we are in compliance with all of the rules and regulations that we are required to be in compliance with to operate successfully as a school district. And we are in compliance with all of those areas, so it is my recommendation that you approve the local education agency compliance report for this school year.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Mr. Lamar and a second by Mr. Benjamin. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it and the motion is carried. Short meeting. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Dr. Viox to adjourn and seconded by Mr. Benjamin. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it and the meeting is adjourned. Wow. Thank y'all so much.
Just one.